So I just got done playing the medium for about 3 hours, and I wanted to do a fast impression video review thing. Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, the biggest, there's a couple of takeaways. The first one is, oh my God, Xbox, I'm sure I can turn it off. You get an achievement for walking in this game. It's like a game that's trying to build horror and tension and atmosphere, which it does pretty well, at least with the atmosphere. Literally, there are moments where, like, you do nothing. It's like you pick up a phone, you walk across the room, like within 10 seconds of each other, these little bloop achievements popping up all over the place. It's like pop-up video back in the day on VH1 or something. It's really annoying. I imagine you can turn it off, but you would think they would have been like, okay, maybe on this one we want to kind of tone that down a little bit. I don't know. That's on my mind. That's annoying as fuck. But the game itself is really hard to really sit in judgment on because there's so much cool stuff in this game. There's really cool ideas. There's interesting mechanics. There's kind of an interesting story scenario going on. The main character's super bland. She's very uninteresting. Visually, she's nothing like, unique as a character, and personality-wise, I mean, yeah, she's a medium, but as a character, she's kind of bland, so it's not like you're excited to spend a lot of time with her, and she talks a lot in the game. She's narrating the game, and so, you need a charismatic lead, and this ain't it. But there's a lot of cool mechanics in the game. What's weird about it is that it's not like, and it shouldn't be, I get it, but it's not like a traditional video game in that they train you up on a couple of mechanics, they treat you how to use them a little bit, and then they give you another one and they teach you how to use that a little bit, and then eventually you have a whole suite of moves after about 2 hours in, and you're just on your own figuring shit out based on how you play those mechanics. The game shows you mechanics and they don't require you to use them for a good long time, and then you get stuck because you don't remember, I learned like there's this thing called intuition. If you hold the left trigger down, she can kind of see things that are hidden in the space, right? Well, you get taught that once at the beginning of the game, and if I wasn't playing this on stream, I would be like, I would have shelved this fucking thing. I would have been like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Someone's like, you have to use intuition here. I'm like, really? I haven't used that for an hour and I only used it once. Same thing with like a psychic shield you can put around your character. It's like the game has these cool mechanics, but it's almost like now it's time to use this mechanic, player, versus just letting you have freedom with these really interesting mechanics. So it feels very weird to play. Like you never kind of get into the flow of the actual game itself. So it's got this very stop-start staccato kind of feel. That's a problem for a game like this. You want to get immersed in it. You want to feel comfortable controlling your character and what she can do, and then get scared. But it just doesn't work that way. It's very weird. There's also just like a lack of play tuning, it seems. There's a couple sections at the beginning of the game. I had no idea what to do next. Again, if I wasn't streaming, I would have quit this game. Because like there was this one section in front of a big building, and you could run. It was probably like 3 times as big as a football field from a car all the way to the building entrance. And you get to the building entrance and you can't get in. Well, it turns out what you have to do is you have to go all the way back to the car unless you happen to check on the car the first time. And you open the car the first time and you check on it, but then you have to realize you have to look just so with the camera to see this interactive button that pops a hood, and in the hood there's a screwdriver, and that's how you get into the building 2 or 3 football fields away. It's just, it's like if they would have played, maybe they did, but it's like you'd think this stuff would have been caught in play testing. There's a lot of great stuff in this game. There's a lot of great imagination, a lot of really cool ideas. It's certainly something, if you have Gamepass, you should play. You already have Gamepass, why not? You may enjoy it more than I did. It's certainly worth exploring, at least for a few hours, because it is interesting. But it really just feels like it needed another 3, 4, 8 months in the oven of just play tuning and just really getting it to a point where they knew where people were getting stuck. I shit you not, I got stuck in the first 5 minutes of the game because I couldn't find a little tie clip right? I mean, it's crazy, but there was a tie clip that you had to find, and I looked everywhere, and I fed the cats, which is something you can do, and I did this, and I did that, and finally somebody's in the stream is like, oh, you have to go into the office and look up at the medals. There's these medals on the wall, and I'm like, well, I did that. He's like, yeah, but you have to look at the medals, and then you have to use intuition. I'm like, oh my fucking, it's just things like that. And the really dangerous part about this, I mean, you guys know I love Game Pass. I love subscription services. But what's really going to be tricky for Microsoft first party going forward, and I know this isn't first party, I get it, but it might as well have been given what they have to release, which so far has been nothing exclusively for Xbox. It's really easy to stop playing something that you don't have any real money invested. I know it's $15 a month or whatever, but ultimately, once you're in the ecosystem of Game Pass or Netflix or anything, things feel free. So you don't have a buy-in. And so it's really Game Pass games more than any other kind of game, I think, have to be play tested. At least the first couple hours, you need to play test the fuck out of those games. Because if you don't, if I wasn't streaming this game, I would have quit this game and never come back to it in the first 5-10 minutes. Because it was a simple fix. It would have been a simple fix. And in fact, if I'm this developer, I would put a patch out watching the telemetry that comes in from this game and go, where are people getting stuck that we didn't find before? Maybe they didn't play test it. Maybe they didn't play test it very well. I don't fucking know. But I would go, let's put a patch out just to kind of ease people in to areas of the game that are really non-intuitive, so more people can actually enjoy the game for what it is, which is a game with a lot of cool stuff. But if Xbox isn't sort of training their developers, at least first party, to go, look, you're on Game Pass now, which means it's so easy to quit the game. You don't have that stickiness that you've just spent $60, so you're willing to give it a couple of hours. You literally have over 150 other options you could be playing just on Game Pass. If it's not fun or if it's confusing, you lose your player. It's like a cell phone game. No, fucking, I'm out. So this is a great poster child for the dangers that can happen if you don't really get in there and focus test the fuck out of your game. It's hard to say on this one, man, because it's really interesting. If I'm Team Bloober at this point, they clearly love horror. They clearly get horror. The only game I've played of theirs that I adored was Layers of Fear 1. All the other games are like this. They're interesting. They have cool ideas. They have cool scenarios. I don't know if they don't have a gameplay designer there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they just don't play test. But all of them, including this one, suffer from, like, you can't hate it. You can't look at it and go, oh, it's a piece of shit. It's not. It's really cool. It's a really cool game. It's got really fresh, interesting ideas, but they just don't come together, and it's almost like you just need a few more months, 3 or 4 more months. And this game could have been like an 8 out of 10 for me, for what that's worth. As is, it's oh man, the ideas, the world, it's an 8 out of 10. It's cool. And there are a couple little, not scary moments, but creepy moments, like shadows on the wall. But as an actual standalone product, it's a 5. It's 4.5. I'll never go back to it. I'll delete it. I'm done. Real disappointing in that. Could have been better. Maybe they'll release a patch. But there you go. That's my 3-hour playtime response to spending some quality gameplay time with the new game, The Medium. Hope you're well. Bye.